Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Winnipeg Jets franchise mode here in NHL 24. So in last episode, we had the second half of the season, and it was much better than the first half of the year. So basically what we did is we brought in a different coach that had a higher rating but not as great of a team fit, and put him as our head coach. We also had to make a trade, which was pretty substantial just because we did suffer a goaltending injury to one per Bergqvist, and I thought it was going to derail our chances at making the playoffs because we had to bring in a weaker goaltender who was actually doing pretty bad. However, this guy, Rene Leblanc, came in from the Buffalo Sabres and was absolutely fantastic under the new coach and all that. He went 14-3 through 18 games. He had 2 shutouts, a .916 save percentage, which means probably if he would have started the season on this team, he could have probably won a Vezina based on those kind of numbers, which is insane. And I wasn't really expecting that because you could see in his prior years of his career, he really wasn't that good. So a huge addition to our team. The only problem is he's never played a playoff game. So if we do play him in the playoffs this year, it will be interesting to see what he could do because he's never been in that situation before. We also, like I said, we changed our coaching staff. So we have a new coach in on this team, that being Ulrich Galvis, who I think at one point might have been one of our assistant coaches, but I honestly don't remember. But he was absolutely fantastic as a head coach for us for this season so far. You can see 37-2 after we put him in as the head coach. Also a nice 79.5 win percentage is fantastic, but this guy has no other coaching experience other than that, so I don't really know what to make of that and what he's going to do for us going forward. I hope that he could be the head coach of this team maybe even next season as well. But obviously, if there's better options out there, maybe we look for those type of guys. But guys like Jenkins weren't really doing well. Eichel wasn't really a good fit for a head coach for this team. Same with Byers. So Galvis is the best. Even though he's only got like a 60% team fit, I guess it did go up because I think it was like a 58 before. But Galvis having that A- overall has definitely helped our team get back into this playoff hunt, which is exciting. And we're going to be taking on the Arizona Coyotes in the first round of playoffs, which is going to be a pretty damn tough team. They only went 45-26-11, which is a little bit worse than us. They have actually, I would say, in a way, a better team than us, in a way, just because during the regular season, I think it was like 5 of their guys in their top 6 were up there in scoring, which is insane. And 4 of them had, I think, over 100 points this season, which is also insane. So the Coyotes definitely have a potent offense, so we definitely need to contain that if we want to have a chance to win things, which means we need some good goaltending in the playoffs and good defensive play, which hasn't necessarily been the case the last few years. So I'm hoping that obviously this time around we could kind of change that up a little bit. And obviously after having a really good second half of the season, hopefully we could also have a good playoffs and find our way to a Stanley Cup win. That would be really amazing. But anyways, let's get into your guys' comments now and see what you guys have to say about last episode, and then we'll get into this first round matchup with the Arizona Coyotes. So the first comment is from Siren Taku. It says, having your 2019 Blues arc right now, I say LeBlanc has earned the net for the start of the playoffs, but keep him on a short leash. And yeah, technically it is, I guess, like the St. Louis Blues in 2019. Hopefully we could win the Stanley Cup just like them as well. But yeah, I think LeBlanc does earn the starting time for the playoffs at the beginning. I was debating about putting Bergqvist in because he did just recently come back from injury. However, like LeBlanc's numbers having a .916, that's like phenomenal. When Bergqvist was playing during the regular season before his injuries and then he coming back, he had a .907, which isn't too bad either. So at least we have a good kind of 1-2 punch we could go and go to. And if both goalies don't do well, we do have a third string goaltender in Jim Bohinski that we could try in the playoffs as well. So we'll see what ends up happening with that goaltending situation going forward, because Bergqvist is still signed here for a few more years. I would love to hold on to him longer. I don't know if Rene Leblanc is going to come back. Like, he might be a one-season wonder on this team. So giving him an opportunity to start in the playoffs is something that we're going to try. And if he's actually really bad in the playoffs, then obviously Bergqvist will come in and hopefully he could give us some good goaltending. And the last and final comment is from Michael Dose, who says, I think this head coach deserves another season after I was looking at his goals for, goals against, power play, and penalty kill percentage and his record. I think I would sit Bergqvist until fully recovered, is what he says. And, well, Bergqvist is actually fully healthy. That is one thing that happened right at the end of last episode. I don't know if you caught that, but he actually missed, I think it was every game, and then he came back right for the start of the playoffs, which is interesting. So we will keep him on the bench just in case. I know it says he's not injured, but who knows, maybe he has a little bit more prone to injuriness now. Like, his durability is a 93, actually, so he doesn't get injured that often, which is kind of insane. But we'll see what ends up happening with LeBlanc in his first game. If LeBlanc's not good, we'll put Bergfist in net. If Bergfist can't play good, maybe give a chance to Bohinski. I'm honestly open to options of trying all these goalies out, so we'll see if this team's able to continue winning in the playoffs. This is one of the first experiences in the playoffs for young guys like Havusari, also Asher Kang, who was called up when we traded away Stefan Reason, who didn't play a single game actually in Buffalo. I saw that afterwards. Also, Harrison's getting his first opportunity in the playoffs. So a lot of the younger guys are getting ourselves back into the lineup for a chance at the playoffs, which is exciting. But we do still have technically the same core as all our cup wins, like Chikwueze, Ekholm, Bickle, Irving, Vandermeer. So will be exciting to see what happens. Also, the addition of Troy Blum was actually a really good addition. In the first half of the season, it didn't look like it was going to be a good addition, but he ended up finishing the year with 29 points and a plus 11. So I'm hoping that he could just help out Vandermeer being good defensively. If he doesn't do good up there, we could always move him to the second pairing and then reunite Vandermeer and Backer together, because those two have been pretty good in the regular season in the past. One last thing before we get into this first round, let me show you guys what the Coyotes look like again, just in case you forgot, because you guys might have forgotten at this point. I honestly forget some of their depth options, but I know that they had a nasty top six. And this is probably one of the best top sixes in the league, just based on the overall rating. As you can see, top line, Domingue, Cummins, and Sparks, all an average of like a 92, 93 overall, which is insane. Second line has Crowder, Roger McQueen, who's really good, also Bykov. So yeah, that top six is nasty. The third line center is also really good, and the third line right winger is solid, but the left side is definitely their weakness, it seems like, for the most part. So we got to contain that forward group for sure. From a defensive standpoint, they're pretty balanced. They're not an insane defensive team, but they're okay. And then their goaltending situation will be interesting to see what Wallstead could do against us, because Wallstead hasn't been necessarily the best goaltender this season. He had an .894, which was the lowest of his career in like a decade almost. So we'll see what he could do against us. And he hasn't played in really much playoffs with the Arizona Coyotes, even though he's been with them since what year? For quite a while. He's been with the Arizona Coyotes since 2031, and he's only made the playoffs one time. So even though this Yotes team is good, they have not had a lot of playoff experience, which might be a benefit for our team, because obviously we have a ton of experience from all of our Stanley Cup wins. But anyways, let's get into this first round and see what our team could do. Obviously, we have home ice advantage, so let's see if we could use it to our advantage and take game one as well. So here we go. Game one on home ice. Can we build off a really good second half of the season? Because that would be amazing. First period of game one. 2-2. Yeah, not a great start for LeBlanc, which is not great. Bohm opened the scoring, so that's that defenseman, and we literally just saw that 87 overall guy, so one of their top players. That was answered by Mark Bulbrook, so Bulbrook getting on the board early, which is nice to see. Lightning, which is, I think, another defenseman or a bottom six forward, so they didn't even get goals from their top guys yet. They had 2 goals in the first, which is not ideal. However, Blunden scores in the first period of the first game of the playoffs this year, which is huge, because last year he had no goals in the entire playoff run. And we need him to be scoring goals if we want to have chances to win games, because he's one of our better goal scorers, even though he's only in his second season. Let's see what happens in the second period, see if we could grab that lead, because it's been a back and forth game so far at this point. Second period, 4-3 us. Okay, we'd get 2 goals, they get 1, I'll take it. Kavusari gets his first career playoff goal, which is kind of insane, because during the regular season, this guy barely scored any goals. Like, I think he had like 3 or 4 goals. However, 2 of them were game-winning goals. So, pretty big note there. Buzek didn't tie the game up, but with 2 seconds left in the second period, Akeem Hansen with a huge goal gives us the lead going into the third, despite being outshot 27-20. So, LeBlanc is starting to find his game a bit, it looks like, and our offense is starting to click. Let's see what happens in this third period, see if we could get some insurance and lock down game one, because it's been pretty offensive so far here in the series. Come on, boys, let's get some insurance. I don't care who it is, let's go. Quentin Reese. We're getting goals from some weird players on this team right now, but that's a huge 2-goal advantage. Walter makes it 6-3. That's a pretty big one as well at this point in the game. Final few minutes, and it looks like, yep, we're going to win game one as Chikwueze makes it 7-3. Good offensive start, and our team played much better defensively after that first period, so not a bad effort from LeBlanc. He makes 29 of 32, and we score 7 goals on 37 shots. Love to see it. Hopefully we can maintain that offensive output going forward as well, though. Let's take a look. So, yeah, we gave up 2 goals in that first period, but afterwards, the goaltending was solid in that second half of the game especially. So, Bulbrook from Blunden from Vandermeer and Bickle, Kavusari from Walter, Hansen from Walter and Vandermeer, Reese from Kang and Scarlett. So, Kang picked up his first career playoff point, and Walter from Kavusari and Hansen. So, a lot of, actually, and Jacuzzi from Ekholm and Irving too, but a lot of the goals were actually kind of like young guys that were involved. Because Bulbrook's kind of young, Blunden's young. You also had obviously Kavasari, who's young. Walter picked up some more assists. Reese scored a goal. Like, it's definitely the youth movement. It seems like that worked really well in that first game, which is really good because obviously we don't have to rely on our top guys that much if our depth is going to score a lot too. Almost everybody on the team had a point too in that game, which is really nice. And look at the plus minus on our top 6 pairing. Reese and Scarlett did a really good job. Really good job defensively, and they're out there for a lot of goals for too. And when your like third line is a +3 across the board, that's also really nice to see. So the plus minus was great, and the goaltending was relatively solid. Like I said, after that first period, LeBlanc was pretty good. So not a bad effort. He'll probably start game 2, and we'll eventually go to Bergfist as well. But Walter the first star of the game, Hansen the second star, and Kavusari the third star. Yeah, I'm really surprised that Kavusari scored his first playoff goal in his first playoff game because, like I said, the guy barely scored in the regular season. He does not shoot the puck a lot either. Like, he only shoots like 1 shot every 2 games. So he's a very interesting player. Like, let's actually go to his stats here right now on this type of screen. Just because I'm curious if he only had the 1 shot on goal last game. He probably did. Let's see. Because you can see a regular season, 3 goals in 82 games. Only 45 shots on goal, so like just over a shot per every 2 games. He actually had 3 shots in his first ever playoff game. That's kind of surprising, so maybe he's more of a playoff shooting type of guy, but a really good start for young Timo Kavusari. Hopefully he keeps that up in the rest of the series. Okay, so that was a pretty solid first game. Let's make sure LeBlanc is in net for game 2, because I don't think I want to go to Bergfist until LeBlanc basically loses a game. That's probably the play. So, LeBlanc will start. Sorry, Bergfist, you'll probably be in net, though, for, I would assume, a game coming up soon, because I don't think LeBlanc is just going to go 16-0 this playoff run, but you never know. You never really know. All right. Game 2 on home ice still, looking to take it 2-0 series lead. Let's see what happens. Come on, boys. Just build off last game, and also build off what this second half of the season has been. It's been an amazing second half. We just got to keep it rolling. First period of game number 2. 1-0 Arizona. Not ideal, but it's not a back-breaking goal to give up. But after scoring 7 goals last game, you'd hope that our team can carry that offense into the next game. And so far, not off to a great start. We did have 11 shots, which means outshooting them, which is good. So at least we're getting our chances. But Wallstead definitely having a much better game here so far in game 2 than he did in game 1. As Kennedy, which I feel like is also a defenseman. I honestly don't remember who a lot of these random guys are on this team. I only know like the top guns of their top 6 that I'll recognize when they do score goals. So that's not great that their depth is scoring. Let's see if we have an answer to that, though, in the second period if possible. Second period. Still 1-0 in Arizona. Okay. So after a really high-flying offensive game, this is definitely a lot closer of a game. Shots are 22-21 in favor of the Yotes. It's a 1-0 game only going into the third. We need somebody to step up in the third period to get us a goal. Maybe Aiden Irving could do it, considering he's the captain. He's been one of our best goal scorers in our channel's history, so maybe he could be the guy going forward. Or who knows, maybe Timo Kavusari will score another goal in the playoffs. Let's see what happens in this third period, see if we could find a way to tie this game up, because if Arizona steals one of our home games, we'd have to steal one of theirs as well in return. So let's see what happens. Period 3. Can we get a tying goal? Can we find a way? Crowder scores to make it 2-0 Yotes. That's not great. That's one of our top 6 guys. Come on, boys. We scored 7 goals last game. Oh my goodness. Sparks, another top 6 guy, I think, makes it 3-0. And unfortunately, it looks like we're going to lose a game on home ice, and we're not going to score a single goal in it. We get shut out, despite outshooting them 34-31. So unfortunately, that was not the type of game we want to see. Our offense completely dries up after the first game, which is kind of what I was expecting. But at the same time, I wasn't expecting it too much because honestly, we were getting goals from like our fourth line, but that's a very quiet offensive game. Like we did definitely have our chances, but Wallstead definitely found himself in that game compared to the last game. So we definitely need a response if we want to crawl back into the series again. Because even though it's tied, losing that game 3-0 is not what we want to see. And our top line was all -3. Our top defensive pairings were actually, top defensive pairing was minus, and our top 6 was also minus. And LeBlanc brought up the exact same numbers pretty much as last game, so he basically was still solid, but the rest of the team just could not give him any offensive support. So we're going to have to make some adjustments to our lineup. We will probably put Bergqvist in net just because of that loss. And then we'll probably readjust our offensive core a little bit too, to try and get that offense to flow better throughout our team. Because for our team to get shut out after 7 goals, it's not exactly ideal. So let's see what we could do here in terms of our lineup here. I like Blunden on that line, to be honest, more than Walter. Walter's also a better fit for like a bottom 6 kind of role almost, unless he's a top liner. Where does Bulbrook fit the best? Third line. Would Bulbrook work on the same line as Kawasari? He would. Okay, we could try Bulbrook with Hansen and Kawasari and getting Walter into the top 6 with Blunden and Bickle. I don't mind that. And then the fourth line could stay the same. Defensively, let's take a look at the plus minuses. That second pairing is a little bit minus, which is not ideal. I need a little bit more out of Goddard as well, because Goddard wasn't really good last year in the playoffs. He's been a very good offensive defenseman, but his last 2 playoffs have been pretty dreadful. So I need a little bit more out of him going forward in this playoff run if possible. And yeah, we'll go to per Bergqvist for the next game. Bohanski apparently might be losing morale. Yeah, he's losing morale because he was scratched, but who knows? Maybe he'll get a chance to play a playoff game if both these goalies suck. But I think so far the goaltending has been okay, because we have given up like 3 goals a game, which isn't insanely bad, but it's just our offense needs to find itself, and our defense needs to play a little bit better. So can we have a response in Arizona? We got to win on the road, which is always tough. Can we have a good response after getting shut out? And can we find a way to score more goals on Wallstead? And can we get some good goaltending from Per Bergqvist in his first game of the playoffs this year? Come on, boys. Let's do it. First period of Game 3. 1-0 us. Good start. So that's basically the reverse role of last game. We're out shooting them this time 15-9. So Wallstead had a pretty good first period still for them, which is not great. However, we do have a 1-0 lead, so at least we did score. And it's Bickle who didn't also score at all last playoff run. So it's good to see some random guys like Bickle showing up and scoring goals who are more primarily passers. But we do need the guys that are actual goal scorers to show up too, like Irving, Walter, London. We need those guys to score goals too. It can't just be the playmakers, because if the snipers don't show up, then we're in a little bit of trouble. Can we get some insurance in the second period to make it a little bit safer going into the third? Second period. 3-0 us. Okay, that's good. That's good. Vandermeer scores, our top defenseman, and then Bulbrook makes it 3-0. We're in a pretty good spot. We just need to find a way to shut it down in the third period. So far, it's been a pretty close game in terms of shots, 26-21, but we have a 3-0 lead. Can we lock this game down and take a game in Arizona as a response to them taking a game on our home ice? Third period underway. Let's lock it down, boys. I know we could do it. We got definitely the defensive and offensive skill and the goaltending to do so. As Ekholm makes it 4-0. Let's go, Ekholm. Well, we're definitely going to win this game, which is good, but the question now, is Bergqvist going to hold it off and get a shutout in his first game of the playoffs? Yes, he is. Let's go, Bergqvist. That's a huge game. He's definitely earned the goaltending spot for now while we wait a little bit to see if he loses. But 32 saves in his first game of the playoffs for Per Bergqvist. We score 4 goals on 36 shots, and we have taken a game in Arizona to take that 2-1 series lead. Let's go, boys. So Bickle from Blunden, Vandermeer from Ekholm, Bulbrook from Scarlett, and Ekholm from Jacuzzi and Irving. Pretty solid game. Ekholm the first star. Bergqvist only had 18 saves, so it was a combined shutout. I guess Bergqvist could have gotten injured again, which would not have been good, but Bickle also was good and he got third star. But let me take a look at the goaltending numbers. Yeah, it was a combined shutout. So I guess Bergqvist played the first half of the game and then he got injured or something like that in game. So LeBlanc came in for the last half of that. So the two of them combined for a shutout in game 3, which is pretty awesome. So let's just hope that Bergqvist isn't actually fully injured, which he's not. Okay, so it was just a minor in-game injury. So, but a combined shutout, you love to see it, as our AHL team has made the playoffs and they will be facing the Texas Stars. So good luck to the Manitoba Moose. We will keep Bergqvist in this game as well, just because obviously he started that game and he was playing pretty good. But LeBlanc definitely showing that he could actually still play games. Like, I think LeBlanc's actually been pretty good still too, but that one loss, I just had to take him out of the lineup because of that. Yeah, he's got a .922 save percentage, so he's been good. And he does get the combined shutout with Per Bergqvist, I believe. Yep, that's awesome to see. I don't think I've ever had a combined shutout in the playoffs before, but we will keep with Bergqvist for now. But obviously LeBlanc could come right back in if Per Bergqvist obviously plays like trash all of a sudden out of nowhere. All right, so 2-1 series lead. Now it's going to get into the interesting stage. Are we going to be able to take a 3-1 stranglehold, or is it going to be a best of 3 after this game? Because right now it's back and forth so far. We got shut out. We didn't shut them out. So can we build off of a good defensive, offensive, and goaltending game going forward? Let's see. Game number 4 in Arizona. Let's do this, boys. Come on. I believe in you. Just got to shut down that top 6. Got to shut down that top 6. First period of game number 4. Scoreless. I'll take it. We have not given up a goal in 4 straight periods, so that's good defense and good goaltending. It would be nice, obviously, for our offense to score a goal in that first period, but I'll take it. I'd rather not be down by a couple of goals. Shots are 9-8 in favor of the Yotes, yet it is a 0-0 game. Who is going to be the first team to break the deadlock in the second period, or is it going to be a game that goes into the third period scoreless? There's a chance on that. Second period. 1-0 Yotes. So there's their first goal in quite a while. It was late in the period too, and it's Deming, who's their highest overall player, I think, other than Cummins. Shots are 21-16 in favor of the Yotes, so we are getting a little bit outplayed here. However, we are still in this game because Bergqvist has been good so far. We just need to find our offensive consistency, because getting shut out one game, then shutting out the team, and then getting potentially shut out in this game, it's just very inconsistent what our offense is doing right now. So we need our offense to be a bit more consistent if possible. Let's have a strong third period here and find a way to tie this game up here, please, boys. Third period underway here. Will it be a tie series, or will we find a way to get a 3-1 series lead? Come on, boys. Penalty kill here in the third. That's not a good penalty to take at this time. We do kill it off, though. We're into the final 10 minutes, still down by 1. We need 1 goal, boys, just to tie it up and get it to overtime to give us a chance. Can we tie it up? Yes, we can. And, of course, it's the man, the myth, the legend, Aiden Irving, with 2 minutes and 15 seconds left, has forced overtime. It always seems like whenever we're down going into the third period in like late stages of games, Aiden Irving's always the type of guy to step up in those spots. Like, we've seen him score some late goals in game as well, which is awesome. So the question is now, are we going to be able to find the OT winner and take that 3-1 series lead, or are we going to have a tie series going back home? Come on, boys. Just get 1 more goal and make me feel a little bit safe and give me that win. If we could win both games in Arizona, that would be absolutely huge for the series. Come on, boys. Overtime underway. The first overtime of the series. Penalty kill to start off. We do kill it off, which is really nice. But they do score afterwards. It's Bykov on their top 6. It was a power play goal against. And unfortunately, after a strong goaltending game from Per Bergqvist, we lose 2-1. And we are going to have to go to a best of 3 scenario going forward, which really sucks. 35 saves from not Bykov, Bergqvist, but I don't really like our offensive consistency right now. Like, we only had 1 goal in that game, and then a few games ago we got shut out. So it's very inconsistent right now. Irving from Vandermeer and Jacuzzi is the only goal, and it came very late into that third period. 3 stars of the game: Wallstead, Bergqvist, and Deming. Yeah, Per Bergqvist and the goaltending has been really good so far in the series, but our team hasn't found ways to score goals consistently. Because how do we go from 7 goals to no goals to 4 goals to 1 goal? Like, it's just very weird. I don't know if there's a way to even get that offense to simulate a little bit more consistent. And since that was an OT loss, that's very bad because obviously we are 1 goal away from potentially taking a 3-1 stranglehold, but now we have to give them a chance, which is not ideal. Trying to think of what we could do with our lineup here. Anybody badly minus on this team out of curiosity? No. Offense looks fine. Defense, that second pairing still minus. That top 6 pairing has been amazing defensively. I love it. And goaltending, yeah, goaltending has been really good. There's not really much problems, to be honest. It's just more about finding that offensive consistency. So maybe we want to address the power play. Maybe I'll take Goddard off the first unit. So we'll put Irving at the point with Vandermeer. We'll put, instead of Goddard on this side, we will pull at Blunden. And then we will move over to here. We will take Blunden off this unit and give Goddard his own power play unit. Because maybe that's what he needs, is his own power play unit to run. Considering right now Vandermeer and him kind of are competing a little bit. So that's going to be the change to our power play lines, just to see if that could spark our power play a little bit. Our penalty kill hasn't been terrible, I don't think, in this series either. I think I'm just going to keep the penalty kill the same for now, too. Even though we did give a power play OT goal, so I think that's all we're going to change is our power play lines, because maybe if our power play gets going, we could actually score consistently. So at least we're back on home ice again, but we do need to find a way to be more consistent. Like I said, that offense has definitely been the worst part so far. The defense has been pretty strong because we've given up a total of no more than 3 goals in each of these 4 games so far. So defense has been good. Goaltending's been good. The offense has been inconsistent. So we find that consistency on the offensive side of things, we'll be in business. So here we go, Game 5. This is a huge game. If we win this, we have a chance to close out the series in Arizona. If we lose this, we have to win a game on the road to force a Game 7, which is not ideal. So come on, boys. Give me a big response after that last game. Give me a lot of goals. That's what I want to see. First period of Game 5. 3-0 us. That's exactly what the doctor ordered when he said he wanted goals. And I'm not a doctor, no. Backer scored, Walter scores, Harrison scores. So we get his first career playoff goal for Harrison. Walter hadn't scored much so far, I think, in this series, so that's good to see. And Backer's not really a goal scorer, so good to see goals from other guys on this team. We are out shooting him 12-9, so far, Wallstead not off to a good start here on our home ice. Hopefully he's not good in Arizona either, because that would be nice. He's been a pretty good goaltender in the series so far. I'll give him that too. Can we find a way to keep this a 3-0 lead, or just maybe get some more insurance? Because if they start getting 1 or 2 goals back into this game, I am a little bit scared that they could claw back up and win this game. So let's have a strong defensive second period like we've been having the last few games. Second period. Oh my goodness, we did blow a 3-0 lead. I was not expecting that, to be honest, but Buzik makes it 3-1. Cummins scores a power play goal, and Leitinen ties it up. That's a tough period for Bergqvist. He's been playing really good up to this point, so that's his worst period of probably his playoff career almost. Maybe not actually his playoff career, because there was a few years ago when we won the cup where he just could not stop anything. Shots were 23-20 at the end of 2. It's a 3-3 game, even though we had a 3-0 lead. We kind of sat back a little bit in that second period, which is not what we want. We've never given up more than 3 goals in the series too so far, so hopefully that stays true in this third period, and hopefully we find a way to get a response after a very, very poor period of play. Come on, boys. Third period. This is a crucial third period. Whoever wins this third period, and maybe overtime if it goes to overtime, will have a chance to end the series next game. Let's see what happens. Come on, guys. Give me a response after the last period. Bykov makes it 4-3 Yotes. They have their first lead of the game. We have blown a 3-0 lead to be down 4-3. Great. We had a power play chance to tie it up, but we could not tie it. Come on, boys. Please tie it up. Give me an Aiden Irving goal again late here. Or somebody. Anybody. Like Vandermeer even. Maybe even. And we're going to lose 4-3. We had a 3-0 lead. And we squandered it. We outshot them 37-27. But that first period was good. But afterwards, team collapsed. And unfortunately, we're on the brink of elimination in the first round of the playoffs, which is not great, especially after a really good second half of the season. It's been a very weird playoff so far for this team. Backer from Jacuzzi, Walter from Bickle and Blunden, Harrison from Timmins and Kang. What the hell are we supposed to do? It's not that we've been a bad defensive team and bad goaltending team. It's just the offense has not been there. It goes there for one period, but then afterwards it takes its seat and doesn't do anything again. Because now we got to win in Arizona to force a Game 7. This is the first time the Yotes have had a series lead as well because they've won back-to-back games. Come on, offense. You're one of the best offensive cores in the league. I don't know how you're going to do it like this. Let's go with Bickle on the top line. We'll go with Ekholm on the second line. We'll probably put Bulbrook back into... Actually, Aiden Irving's kind of dropping off. How has he been? 1 goal, 3 points. He's not been bad. 2 goals. Walter has 4 points. Walter's actually been our best left winger, so he'll go to the top line. Trying to think of who's been under-simulating 4 points. Technically, Aiden Irving has been under-simulating. Now, I guess I'll move Aiden Irving to the third line, even though I love this guy. We'll put him next to Kavusari and Hansen. And then his fourth line will probably stay the same. Should I swap Blunden and Jacuzzi? Yeah, you know what? We'll do it just to try and get the chemistry as balanced as possible. The top pairing really hasn't done that much. Actually, Vandermeer's been solid, but I think what I'm going to do is go back to the Vandermeer backer route, and we'll go back to Blum and Goddard, because Goddard hasn't really done anything whatsoever this playoffs. I'm almost thinking we might want to trade Goddard in the offseason. I know he's got one more extra year left of his contract, but he's going to be he's not going to come back to his team in free agency probably when he gets to that point. He's been a very good offensive defenseman in the regular season, but these last 2 playoffs have been absolutely dreadful. Only 5 points in 21 games as an offensive defenseman and a -7 combined. His first few playoffs were really good, but this time around he's just really not done anything. So we'll see what ends up happening with Goddard going forward, but he hasn't been good. That top 6 pairing's been still pretty good too. Because like he's getting actually outscored by defensemen like Reese and Scarlett right now, which is kind of insane. So definitely needs to be much better. And then Bergfist still has a 926, but I think we're going to go to LeBlanc for this next game just to change things up a little bit. And yeah, we'll go with that because that was a really rough second period from Bergfist last game, so he needs to be better, so that's why we're giving LeBlanc the opportunity. Can we force a Game 7 back on home ice? Because if we lose this game, is the dynasty, I would say, is officially over at that point if we end up losing this game, in a sense. Because we definitely haven't found ourselves in the playoffs as much as we used to. Like, ever since we traded away guys like Groshek and Wilson, we've definitely been falling off a little bit. We do have a good future of this team still, because there's a lot of good guys in the system. There's actually a guy I could call up, actually. I forgot about that. Is that guy worth calling up? The HL team's probably doing well this year, right? Still in the playoffs. They're 1-1. Bryson Waters is the guy I'm thinking of calling up. Because he's a lowly that's jumped up to an 81 overall. Is there anybody I would put him in the lineup for, though? Right side's pretty deep, but we do play Irving on the left side. I do play Kang on the right now. I could send down Kang always and then get Waters into the lineup. Waters is also a two-way forward. He has 2 goals in 3 games, so he's been a -3 in the AHL playoffs, so... Should I keep him down there for now? He's got really good shot accuracy. Or do I wait till next season? Trying to think what would be the best case scenario. For his development, it would probably be better to be in the AHL playoffs, but has Kang been bad? No, not really. Kang's actually been solid. 2 assists in 5 games after only having 8 points in 20 games in the regular season. He's not a huge goal scorer. We do need goal scoring right now. You know what? I'm going to send Kang down, and I'm going to call up that guy. We got to just give it a chance. So Waters is going to come up. He will probably be with this team next season. But I got to make some sort of adjustment here, I think, to try and get our offense to actually score some goals. So he's going to join this 4th line. And then we'll probably actually give him maybe some power play time, too. Because he does have a really good shot. So, let's see. Can I get him on the power play? Trying to think of what I could do here. I'm going to take Kavusari off the power play. And we're going to give Waters a chance. There we go. So we'll see what Waters could do for us. Obviously, we'll send him back down if we get eliminated potentially. But it looks like he could be a really solid player, and he'll definitely be in our NHL team next season, which also gives us an interesting dilemma with guys like Jaquezie, for instance, Bulbrook, for instance. Like, obviously, we could rework this a little bit, that top six, but Waters is definitely going to be pushing as a third liner probably next season, my guess. So there could be some interesting decisions we have to make. Let's go back down here again. We'll put Kang in on the top line, because honestly, I don't really know where else to slot him in. And hopefully the HL team still does well without Waters down there, because Waters is probably our best prospect. We also do actually have some unsigned guys too, like that medium elite, I believe, that jumped up to a 79, I think. Let me see. Yeah, see, we have Bohms too, who's probably going to jump to the NHL next year too as a grinder. So that's pretty exciting. So at least we do have some good future pieces getting ready, and we also do have like lottery picks and such. So I'm excited still for the future of this team, but it does really suck that we're kind of struggling here in the playoffs. Like, the main core is not as good as it used to, for sure. Anyways, let's see what happens. See if we can fight off elimination, force a Game 7, because who knows, we might still have a second round ahead of us if we could find a way to string together 2 straight wins. So here we go. In Arizona, real-time simulation, looking to stay alive for another day or two. Come on, boys. Let's get it done. Let's see if that addition to our lineup could actually help us out, because we need that goal scoring. Jaquezie scores early on. That's a good start. On the power play, too. So that's good to see the power play scoring for us, but they get a power play goal of their own from Bykov, which is not ideal. Come on, boys. Let's have a good response. Good response, please. Penalty kill late in the first period. We kill it off, I guess. But shots 15-11 in favor of us after 1. It's a 1-1 game. Not bad. I'll take it. Obviously, it would be better to be leading after 1, but I'll take a tie period rather than obviously trailing. Let's see if we let's see if we can have a strong second period here and find a way to grab that lead back. Come on, boys. Who wants to be the guy? Come on, maybe even Waters. If Waters could score a goal in this game, that will earn him a big contract one day, potentially, because I feel like he could be a good kind of guy like Blunden in terms of goal scoring, based on his 30-goal rookie season in the AHL. Final few minutes of this second period. Still 1-1 game. Come on, boys, please. And, oh my goodness, are you serious? We give up a goal with 42 seconds left, and we're trailing going into the third now, despite outshooting him 27-22. This game's not on LeBlanc. This is the offense being inconsistent still. I really need Waters to find a way to maybe spark this team going forward here. I don't really expect him to make a huge impact in this game, but we need somebody to make a huge impact in this third period if we want to keep our season alive. We had a very good second half of the season, but this head coach must not be a good playoff coach or something like that, because our team is definitely not finding that success we had in the regular season. So maybe we still look for a new head coach in the offseason. I honestly don't know. But let's see what happens in period 3. See if we could find a way to tie this game up and potentially extend the series a little bit longer. Come on, guys, please. This could be one of the last games of Aiden Irving's career, too. So we got to be mindful of that. Let's see what happens in period 3. Come on, guys. Do it for Aiden, considering he's already 34 years old. He could literally only have 1 season left, which is not great. Power play for us, we do not score. Penalty kill, nicely done. Penalty killers, power play for us, again, we do not score. Yeah, we're snake bitten offensively right now. We need somebody to step up. Final few minutes. We lose 2-1, and we're packing our bags in round 1. Well, the dynasty might be officially over with that. We outshot them 39-31. We literally outscored them 7-3 in the first game, but our offense just completely nosedived after that. And another good goaltending effort. So our goaltending was really good in that first round and defensive play, but our offense just could not find itself. And the last goal of our season is Jaquezie for Meckel. Wow, that sucks. That sucks. Packing our bags this early doesn't happen that often after all those cup wins. You had a lot of guys taking a lot of chances in that game, but we just could not convert. LeBlanc was fantastic, but unfortunately we couldn't get him a win. And yeah, he got third star of the game in that loss. And Wallstead found himself completely after we blew him out in the first game. That's really unfortunate, man. That's really unfortunate. Very inconsistent. Like, if we go to the calendar here, you can see the scoring problems. Like, 7-3, great offensive game, but then all of a sudden we get shut out. We didn't shut them out, so it's like, okay, maybe we're back to form again. But the last 3 games, we only scored 1 goal, 3 goals, and 1 goal. So only 5 goals in our last 3 games. The offense just could not be consistent enough. And losing those last 3 games all by 1 goal, especially that OT loss, will always come back to bite us. I knew once we lost in overtime that the chances of us winning the series went down a little bit. And that continued the rest of the way. That sucks, man. You would think after a really good second half of the season that we would have been able to actually continue that into the playoffs, but we're not as good as the 2019 Blues, that's for sure. Anyways, player stats for that playoffs, not going to be super good probably, but Ekholm had 4 points, Bickle had 3, Hansen had 2, so some okay depth. Walter had 4 points. Blunden only had the 1 goal to start the playoffs, but 4 points is respectable. Harrison 1 goal. Yeah, to be honest, our stats really don't look that bad. Like, we got depth scoring, but like the plus minus, of course Waters was a -1 in the only game he played. Maybe I should not have called him up. That's unfortunate. Defensively, Vandermeer was pretty solid, but I am very displeased with Jordan Goddard. Really good regular season guy, like I said, but his playoffs, he's just been nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. So, is there a chance we trade him away this offseason? Potentially. And that way we can maybe bring back Blum as a defenseman. And again, he might be more expensive, but yeah, this defensive core is definitely going to take quite a hit. Like, Scarlett's also a pending UFA too. Like, the only one signed up for next season still is Backer and Vandermeer. Goaltending, like I said, was fantastic. Both goalies with identical goals against and almost identical save percentages. Both of them had that combined shutout that one game as well. So the goalies gave us a chance to win. The defensive play did as well, but the offense just did not find itself. Like, look at the goal scoring. Nobody scored more than 2 goals in the series. And we had a bunch of guys that did not score any goals. Actually, only 2 guys that didn't score any goals on the forward group. So, like I said, the depth scoring was okay, but we just could not find that consistency part. Most of those points probably came in the first game of the series as well. So it's a bit weird looking at these stats, but unfortunately, that's going to be that. Jacquizzi had 16 penalty minutes in those playoffs as well, so Arthur Jacquizzi kind of put us in a bad spot in terms of fighting a lot, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Okay, well, let's take a look at who ends up winning the Stanley Cup in 2040. Because our dynasty's pretty much over. The Ducks also got eliminated in the first round after they won the Cup last year. So, who will win the Stanley Cup in 2040? And is there any former players on this team that wins the Stanley Cup too? That'll be interesting to see. And it's going to be the Coyotes that win the Stanley Cup. So, at least we lost to the best team in the league. However, we had a chance to put them to bed. But we didn't put them to bed. So, they win the Stanley Cup in 2040. We've already seen their roster. But congrats to the Yotes. Who did they beat for the Stanley Cup? The Washington Capitals. Interesting. Let me take a look at their player stats for the actual playoff run. Like, did their top line start getting going a bit? Because their top line wasn't really that evident against us, I don't think. Yeah, their top line started to come together a little bit. However, like, look at the plus minuses on some of these guys. -7, yet they still won. Yeah, they had some pretty good depth. If only we would have brought Caleb Raffle to the team, maybe we would have won. And then, yeah, Wallstead, a 924, was fantastic. At 37 years old, nonetheless. Awards for the season. The Arizona Coyotes win the Stanley Cup. That's their first Stanley Cup, I think, in quite a while. I don't know if they've won a cup in the series. Anaheim won the Presidents, but was out in the first round, just like us. And it was Arizona-Washington Cup Finals. Individual awards. Collins for Nashville wins the Art Ross. He also wins the Hart. Boudens wins the Norris for the Philadelphia Flyers, so it's been back and forth between Vandermeer and Boudens the last few years. Vandermeer was very close to winning it potentially because his plus-minus was up there and his points were up there, but Boudens had just a little bit better in terms of the plus-minus department. Eckford wins the Lady Byng. Interesting. Warren Armstrong, who was the first overall selection, I believe, wins the Calder for the Oilers. Roger McQueen wins the Conn Smythe in the playoffs. Okay. Kim Rodine for Nashville wins the Vezina and also the Jennings. Villette for Montreal wins the Masterton. I believe that guy was a free agent last year we were looking at. He was the Masterton winner back-to-back seasons. Boston's head coach wins the Jack Adams. Connor Bedard the Selke. Cons the Lindsay. And Yanni Koivisto wins the Richard after Pekka Koivisto won it 2 years in a row. And our Aiden Irving won as well. AHL-wise, let's see any awards for our AHL team. No AHL awards, which is kind of surprising. But it is what it is. Okay. So there is the award winners. Let's simulate up to the draft lottery results now because we do have a chance at the first overall pick this year thanks to the Carolina Hurricanes. Toronto Maple Leafs, I think, made the playoffs, so that doesn't matter too much. But Carolina has a chance for the first overall pick, and we have that pick because of the Grosek trade. So will we win a draft lottery to maybe potentially give us even a better player that we don't really need? But let's see. Let's see. And no, we're going to stay at number 10, which is fine with me. A top 10 pick from that trade, I'll take it. I will take it. But Buffalo's going to win the draft lottery, followed by Detroit, Montreal, Tampa, Chicago, and that's that. So the Atlantic Division is getting a lot of good help in this draft because Buffalo, Detroit, Montreal, Tampa, and Ottawa are all in the top 10. That's kind of insane. All right. So there is that. Retirements for the season. Did we lose anybody to retirement? Probably not, but let's take a look at this each position-wise. So Dylan Cousins retires with Tampa. Logan Cooley losing in the finals, too, for Logan Cooley. Aatu Ratu. I'm surprised Aatu Ratu actually had over 1,000 career points. Don't think I've ever seen him simulate that well. Huh, alright. Brad Lambert has retired, our former guy, but it doesn't really matter too much. He wasn't a huge player in the series. Left wing side of things, Alexis Lafreniere retires as well as JJ Peterka, Matthew Nyes. All right. Right side of things, Jack Quinn, Alexander Holtz. So some solid retirements this year. In terms of defense, Charlie McAvoy, who we had 1 year, he also retires in Buffalo. Jamie Drysdale retires as well. Luke Hughes. So the Ducks losing Drysdale is pretty big, considering we used to play them a lot in the playoffs. Zellweger, Jeremy Poirier. Oh, Thomas Galvis retires. We drafted this guy back in our first... He might have been one of our first ever selections in the series. I don't remember for sure, but he definitely dropped off a lot. He's only 34, but yeah, we used to have Galvis way back in the day. And he didn't even win a single Stanley Cup with us, I don't think. Actually, he maybe won in 2031. But congrats on the retirement to Galvis. And that's pretty much... Actually, wait, who is this? Alexei Datsuk? No, I thought it was somebody I drafted, but it wasn't. Goaltending-wise, Spencer Knight has hung them up. Same with Joel Blomqvist. So no retirement to Juan Wallstead, which is kind of surprising. But there is the retirement class for 2040. Coach retirements. We did lose Patrick Melkar in the AHL, which I believe might have been their head coach. So the AHL team might need a new head coach, which is unfortunate. In terms of our NHL team, we did not lose anybody. All right. So now the question is, what is the draft class looking like? What are the contract situation in this offseason? And the progress reports. So first and foremost, the progress reports. Looks like some statistical potentially growth / drop off. Waters should probably be full D in the NHL next season, which gives us some problems in terms of who we might have to flip away. And then in the system, Bowman's up to a 79, as we saw, listed as a fourth liner. We also have some other guys that are developing relatively well, but most of them aren't NHL ready yet. Kalinen's actually getting close to being a backup goalie. He's actually listed as a backup goalie. He's a 77, so Ivan Kalinin might end up being our backup next season. That's if we let go of LeBlanc and stuff, which probably will be the case because he might demand too much, but Ivan Kalinin is ready. Zajac up to a 75 as a low 6 is not bad. Yeah, we're getting some pretty good growth in the system. But obviously, I think we're going to have a couple guys jump into our lineup, which is going to be kind of tough to decide on what we want to do. Because obviously, I got to get Bohms into the lineup based on that. And I also got to get Waters into the lineup, which means when we look at the wingers, we have Harrison, who's kind of a fringe NHLer. We have Timmins, who's a third liner. Walter, who's a third liner, so he dropped back down. That's unfortunate. Blunden, who's a second liner. And then right side, we have obviously Waters now. We'd have Kavusari, Bulbrook, Jaquizi, Irving. Like, we'd have some tough decisions on who we would have to get rid of to get these guys into the lineup full time. Like, we have a lot of wingers. A lot of them. We do use Harrison technically as a center, which is good, but I honestly don't really know what we do with that. Like, Kang technically also could be in the NHL next year too, so there's some tough decisions with the forward group going forward. Like I was also saying, though, defensively, maybe we think about trading away Goddard. Great regular season guy, but his playoffs have been not that great. I mean, it does make us a lot weaker. Scarlett's, I believe, also a pending UFA, so some tough decisions defensively. And goalies likely would be Bergqvist and Kalina next season if we decide to let go of LeBlanc. So there is that. Final few things, we got to take a look at the contract situation and the draft class. So it was up for renewal this offseason because we're going to have to free up some cap space probably to sign them. Blum is the big one. Obviously, we signed him to a one-year deal in the offseason. I don't really know if he's going to come back based on that. He doesn't want an extension. He wants also a max-term deal pretty much, which is unfortunate. We also have a couple of RFAs like Timmins and Kavusari who are going to be expensive probably. Scarlett's a pending UFA. He probably wants a similar contract. Yeah, he wants a pretty similar contract to last year. Closer to $4 million now, though. Bohms will be NHL bound. Malone's a UFA, which doesn't matter. Reese is a UFA, which might matter, which is unfortunate. At least we have a lot of RFAs, but we're still getting into that very tough stage of we have to let go of some people. And then all these goaltenders are UFAs. So probably LeBlanc and Bohinski both go. Phillips gets signed for the AHL. And then Kalinin will be the NHL backup next year to Bergqvist. The only way we could really free up some cap space is if we trade away somebody with a huge cap hit, which is going to be kind of tough because those are all our top guys. Obviously, what we'd hope for is Aiden Irving to retire soon because that will free up some cap space. I'm not trading him, so don't even suggest it. There's probably some options we could trade, but like Bulbrook on 5.3, we could always trade him away. Blunden's already just got his recent extension. Hansen's on 2.9, so there's some players that we could definitely trade away to free up some cap space if we really need to, which we honestly might have to because we probably do not have a ton of money to re-sign people this offseason. Like, based on this right now, it looks like we might have only like $23 million, which really isn't a lot. So there's that. And final thing, the draft class. We have, what picks this year? We have 10, I know for sure. Yeah, 10, 18, and 24. That's not too bad. We could definitely try and move up if we really want to. We also do have 3 second-round picks, which is interesting, but we do not have a 7th this year. So 10, 18, and 24. Let's take a look at what is supposed to go around that spot. But like I said, we could try and move up because we do have multiple picks if we really see somebody intriguing to join this team. Some pretty solid players in the top bit. 10th overall, Jose Ruchin. 1 year out, but probably just a top 6-4, but still 1 year out. That might not be bad, but we don't really need more wingers. That's the only problem. Wow, Perreault's NHL ready as a top 6 forward, apparently. So this draft class might actually have some decent players. Preston Martin, we don't know anything about him. Our scouts really didn't do a super good job here, it looks like. Carson O'Neill looks okay. Yeah, there's actually some okay top 6 forwards, but Trying to see if there's any steals, which it doesn't seem like it right now. Any low leads? There's a medium league goalie from Croatia, Edward Allison. We'll pin him. We already had Hodges pinned, I guess, because he's a gem. Isaac Sharp. Don't know if he's elite for sure. Is there any guaranteed low leads, though? There's a medium elite, maybe, or a low elite. Shanahan will pin him because he's a gem. And there's a couple low leads, nice. Alexander Antropov, who looks pretty good. He's not bad. late first round, early second rounder. Kip Pacioretty is guaranteed low elite, which we already had him pinned. Quinton Sharp might be low elite. No guarantees on that, but probably is, my guess. Yeah, his draft class is okay, but it's not really anything insane. So there is that, and I think that's almost it. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Let me actually take a look at the morale here first on this team so you guys can see who's low morale. And who can maybe leave. Low morale. Well, Lalonde's leaving for sure. Bomick doesn't matter. Scarlett's kind of low morale. Bulbrook's also a little bit lower too. Bulbrook could be a guy we potentially trade away for cap reasons, but it's really tough to determine on this stage. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Winnipeg Jets franchise mode. So in next episode, we will take it to the draft and re-sign stage. We'll try and keep this team as much together as possible, but we are going to have to make some probably really tough decisions going forward in terms of restructuring this team and also fitting within the salary cap. So anything down below, and I'll see you guys next time.